Hi everyone, it's Renee with Delaney Jane Cards. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a video for you with a design team project for Birch Press Designs. I'm using a few products here. This is the Memory Box Holiday Glitter Cardstock and the Lotus Flower Layer A. Just a layer A. You know, Birch Press Designs is known for their layering dies, and I wanted to just use the A. What I did is die cut this from some wood grain paper as well as a piece of that glitter paper. And here I'm just using some removable Scotch tape to kind of keep all the pieces together. You can see that really cool wood grain design. And I wanted to bring that out just a little bit more, so I decided to ink blend on this wood grain paper. I used a couple of the Distress Oxide inks. I used spun sugar and picked raspberry. Just kept the lighter colors to the tips of the petals and tried to concentrate that darker color kind of toward the bottom of each of the petals. It is very loose. There is no, there really was no structure to this. And you see here, I tapped off my brush, and later I realized that I shouldn't have done that because that wasn't a waste piece of paper. So I do end up adding the darker pink down to the bottom. And I do have my color cam on here so that you can see me blending this. I wanted you to see how the wood grain pops when you add a little bit of ink to this. It just shows up in such a unique and amazing way. You can highlight that wood grain, and I just thought this was a really subtle, beautiful card design, and I think that, well, I think I was very proud of this card. So you'll have to let me know what you think. When I was ink blending this, I didn't care about the outline edges at all. That's why I die cut some out of that glitter paper, because I'm going to use that to kind of outline my design there. So I just was finishing up ink blending that darker pink down at the bottom, kind of covering up my mistake there where I decided to tap off my brush. These are just some Dollar Tree brushes. They're nothing fantastic. I probably could invest in some better ones, but these seem to work for now. Then I used this Ranger Shimmer Spray. I think this one is, let's see, I don't remember if it was Sparkle or Frost. But I just like tapped the straw on there and added a little bit of splatter, and thought it would add a little more interest, and then dabbed it off with a paper towel because I didn't really have time to wait around for it to dry. I mean, it doesn't take that long, but I didn't have time to wait around. So there is that kind of center medallion, and here this is the other die cut. And I wanted to show this. Normally I would just pull in the die cut already taken apart, but this glitter paper, glitter cardstock, what is it actually called? Shimmering cardstock, and it's really cool. It is called the Holiday Glitter Pad. You get 2 of each of the 12 colors that are in there. 6x6 sheets. I mean, you can really do a lot, and there's a couple of different versions of gold. I liked this one because it kind of matched my antique gold embossing powder, and I just thought it would be kind of perfect with this pink, these pink tones. But there, I just wanted to show you how easy that die did, cut that paper and popped right out of there really nice. So this is the actual panel that I die cut that wood grain medallion out of. And this is going to be used on my card. I'm not, tossing this out. I will be kind of inlaying this centerpiece inside. But I decided to pull my sentiment off of this stamp set here. And this is called Big and Little Reverse Words. It's by Memory Box, and I think it's on their line called Open Studio. I really love this stamp set. I've never really been a huge fan of like the label look as far as stamps. I struggle with getting them to stamp properly. And here I'll show you. I left this in so you could see. So I used my anti-static bag, and then I'm using some Versamark ink and stamping it. And I could tell in the light in my studio that it hadn't covered all the way. So I stamped it again and pressed down, and I thought it was pretty good. So, well, I stamped it one more time here because, well, I wanted to make sure. This one doesn't work out, and I will show you. I will show you what happens, and I will show you how I fix it for the other one. So here I'm going to show putting the embossing powder on, and this is just some Simon Says Stamp Antique gold embossing powder. And you can see the eye, the tittle for the width. It didn't stamp right, so it's super giant. So I'm going to kind of repeat this process. First, I am going to peel my stamp back and kind of push it into the MISTI door so that if there was any air bubbles, I got rid of them. I used my anti-static powder bag on the white cardstock again, and I'm going to stamp this a few times. I still had a white spot after this is all done. Just spoiler alert. It's because I didn't get the air out from underneath the stamp very well. And like I said, that happens to me, and that's why I'm usually not drawn to this stamp set, but I will show you how I fixed it, and I am in love with the label that it created. So here I tried to put another piece of cardstock underneath, thinking that maybe I had a low spot in my stamp, and it didn't do it. So it was definitely an air bubble under there. So I just used a Versamark pen, which they make, and I just filled in the spots that needed, embossing powder to stick to them. And here you can see I got much better coverage, like so much better coverage. And I had my heat gun warming up off screen so you can see how fast that went. Now there is a tiny little die that will cut these out. And I did leave this part in too because I wanted to show you something else. It's very neat with this set. A lot of times when you have the labels, stamps, and dies, you have to be super careful because it leaves like a little white border around, the solid image. This die does not. It actually cuts out inside of the image. Here you can see that there's gold embossing powder all the way around this opening here. Just so you don't have to have it perfect, you're able to cut it out and you get that nice pressure cut edge, and it was just a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. So here I am putting, just kind of lining everything up. I wanted to make sure I had all the pieces that I wanted and make sure that everything was going to fit the way I wanted it to. And this is that Scotch removable tape that I just love. I like to stick like everything together with it, but I carefully peeled it off and was able to add some, what is this stuff? Multimedia Matte by Ranger to the back of it. And I set that kind of aside. I didn't want it to be super goopy and gluey, that like super wet. So I set that aside so it could kind of air dry just a bit while I finished putting this together. Just use my ATG to attach this panel, and then I'm going to stick down this center. And I screw up yet again. See, I stick it down, and then I realize that I didn't do a very good job making this thing straight at all. So I peel it back up because see here, when I was like, that is not straight. What are you doing, Renee? So I peeled it back up, and because the glue is liquid and it didn't have time to really dry, I was able to peel it back up and straighten it out a little better. I tried to use my T-ruler just to kind of line things up so that it looked visually straight. I'm sure it's not. And you know what? Yours probably won't be either, and it's a handmade card, and that is kind of one of the unique features of making cards yourself, is that they're not perfect. They have a little bit of us in them, and we are not perfect, and it's just kind of a fun way to spread that. So here, I stuck all this down, and then I added that same multimedia matte to the back of the glitter die cut piece. I am using this kind of like an embossed outline, and you can see it just brings this right to life, like absolutely to life. It creates the most beautiful image, and I was so excited that it worked out for me. Then I decided to pop this with love up and put it right underneath the floral image, which is this beautiful lotus. At first, I was going to put it down in the corner, and I decided that it was just perfect where it was. So I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you. As I always say, give cards generously, and let me know below what you think of my card. Bye.